Oh, buddy, I'm getting excited, Chiefs Kingdom. We are a little bit more than a week away from the 2024 NFL Draft, 9 days to be exact, and I cannot wait for Roger Goodell to step out on that stage, the bells to ring, and finally, football in some ways is back. Obviously, there's no games, and we're going to have to wait a while before stuff happens in practice, but hey, it's something, and I'm excited, so let's all get excited, but let's talk a little mock draft. How about that? So if you're pumped about the NFL draft just like I am, like the video, I mean, heck, for Super Bowl 58 champions, we're trying to go for three-peat champions. We need at least, 590 likes for Super Bowl 59 to get the good luck going. So, hit that like button. I'd certainly appreciate it. 590 is the goal. That way we can make sure we guarantee the Chiefs to three-peat. So that'd be super fun. All right, let's switch things up. Now, we've done a lot of mock drafts. This is being the sixth one. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different scenarios that we have kind of talked about, but let's do a new scenario today. Let's first start with the picks that the Chiefs currently have. As hint, they will not be the ones that they end up with. Round 1, pick number 32. Round 2, pick number 64. Round 3, pick number 95. Round 4, pick number 131. Round 5, pick number 159. Round 5, pick number 173. Round 7, pick number 221. Those last ones being Dallas, a compensatory pick, and the Tennessee pick that they received from L'Jarius Sneed's trade. So 7 total picks in general. How about we give them one extra? Trade alert right off the bat. I'm trading back this time. Maybe the Chiefs have been talking about potentially trading up, but I'm going to do it where they trade back this time. So I'm going to go here with the Patriots trade. You only go 2 picks back, but you get a 4th-round draft pick on top of this. So you're adding to your draft picks. You give up your 32nd pick to the Patriots, and you get their 34th pick. And then you get the 4th-round pick that the Patriots currently hold. And, well, that adds to your draft picks and only slots you back 2 spots, which in this mock draft, it kind of worked out. Before I tell you who I picked, though, with that, grade this trade. A, B, C, D, or F. What are we thinking here? I know that this is kind of an interesting one. We haven't done this before where they go out of the first round. I know it's scary, but it's something, and I think it'd be kind of exciting. So what do you think? A, B, C, D, or F? F being bad, A being best, C being average, B and D, the in between. Xavier Legette is my round 2 pick number 34 guy, which is funny because people have been talking about him being a potential first-round draft pick for the Chiefs at pick 32, which is exactly why this trade makes sense. You get him in round 2, a guy that, honestly, I think the Chiefs love. People love seeing him as the guy that would end up with Kansas City. And on top of everything else, you get an extra draft pick in round 4. I would love that. You actually get an extra draft pick for a guy that you already want. And I mean, that's the way you kind of have to think about this in a lot of different ways. Now, Legette has been, let's say, good this year. Previous years we'll talk about here in a minute. But before that, this year was really great. 1,200 yards, 17.7, and the big number that I look at because of last year's struggles, 2 drops. 2 drops. That's all it was. That's pretty good for a guy with 71 receptions and 7 touchdowns. All right, let's talk about the bad, though, with this guy because, well, this season was about the only good one he had. 113 in 2020, 7 receptions. 63 in 2021, 8 receptions. 167, 18 receptions. 3 touchdowns, though. But then he just went off in 2023 this past year, 71 receptions, 1,255 yards, 17.7 in average, and 7 touchdowns with Spencer Rattler as his QB. Played well and has kind of lurked into that late first-round slot, potentially early second round, probably at worst. He fits well. I think that's the biggest thing, and given you can trade back and still get him, it's something that I just don't think you can miss out on. And again, this is going to have to rely on what happens ahead of you. If you think Xavier will be there in 2 picks, it's a lot of stuff to go into detail for Brett Veach. And obviously, draft day is one of the most hectic days on planet Earth for the GM. And I think right now is probably when things start to set in. And I really highly doubt Brett Veach is about to get any sleep for the next week and a half. So, hey, I'm right there with him. Let's get going. I'm excited for it, but it's a stressful time for the GM. Let's go trade again, though. How about that? Let's just do another one. How about no more sleep? Let's keep trading. 2024 third-round pick, you're going to get that, and you're going to get a 2025 fourth-round pick, for trading away your second-round pick. So, no, you already had your second-round pick technically because you get traded back into the second round. You give up your actual one this time, and you get a 4th-round pick next year, which, again, with Chris Jones's contract starting to settle in here in a little bit, with the potential for Patrick Mahomes' contract to settle in here a little bit next year, you need to start planning for the future in multiple different ways. And this is something that I think you could do that. And I'm excited to see if this is something that we see from Brett Veach. If he starts stockpiling picks, it's something that easily could do, trading 1 for 2. All right, so you go just now, switch to pick 80, round 3. And I got Dominic Puni, the offensive guard from Kansas. And I know that you see guard and you think, Jace, we need a tackle. Yes, Puni can do that. We've seen him play that in his career at Kansas. He can fit in that position. Now, is that what he is expected to play? No. But on the offensive line, things are interchangeable in a lot of ways. And when you have a guy who has a PFF grade of 80.6, you could probably have the potential to move him around. 8 hurries, 2 penalties. He's been someone who has been, honestly, really consistent. No sacks allowed, no hits in 2023. And the big thing with me is Wanya Morris, a 3rd-round pick. Now you get Dominic. You are able here to combo them in a way. You can have faith in Wanya, but also grab Dominic. And again, with him being an offensive guard, he's kind of mobile in some ways. We know Joe Tooney's coming off the pec injury. God forbid Trey Smith gets hurt. You have somebody who maybe you can trust a little bit more than Mike Kelly-Andrew. I know that that's obviously something you have to plan for. And I do think Wanya Morris is a very good fit at left tackle. However, I think it's important to make sure that you get the best possible way with that. I know there's been talk about drafting an offensive tackle. And with that talk comes, okay, when is that going to happen? People want it in the 1st or 2nd round because then that tackle is, in theory, I say in theory because Wanya was a 3rd-rounder, better than Wanya. Not for certain, and I think it'd be nice to have a little bit of a competition between two. I feel like that would help both sides, and you never know what could happen, especially with injuries. It'd be nice to have a guy who's very mobile on tackle or guard. So I think he really, really, really fits well. Let's go to round 3, pick number 95. Ben Sinnott, the tight end from Kansas State University. And he has been one that we have seen on multiple other people's mock draft. I had him a couple on mine. The big reason why we see him a lot, he did have a top 30 visit with the Kansas City Chiefs. So he is in contact with him. They have obviously been in contact and talking. And with him being a Kansas State guy, we all know the Kansas State to Kansas City pipeline. We've seen Felix Uzoma, Echo Boydo, and that's just last year. So lots more that we could probably bring up. And I think this is kind of the one where you probably think he could do a little bit of both. He's a good blocking tight end, but his receiving stats, pretty good. 676 through the air, 6 touchdowns, just 2 drops on 49 receptions. He reminds me of a very, very young Travis Kelce. And I think you forget how long Kelce has been in the league, And he's going on his 11th year now. So, you talk about how long he's been able to sustain that. Ben, guess what? Let's say 4 or 5 years on the line when he takes over Kelce, 3 years, obviously maybe being a little bit generous there at 4 or 5, but he comes in here, he has the ability to do it. But do the Chiefs even need a tight end? I don't really know. Irv Smith Jr. was a free agency addition this year, and I know that is something that, strikes conversation of, then are we going to draft somebody? Originally, I thought no, but the Chiefs do like to have 4 tight ends on their roster, so given they only have 3 right now, at least 3 guys that I would expect to make the roster, maybe they do this. Type D for draft if you want them to get a tight end. Type P for pass if you think, I'm kind of good. I don't think we need a tight end right now. Let's go to round 4. 103, a guy that I have done once before, Michael Hall Jr., defensive lineman. Obviously a big one here as we're going to have an Ohio State guy that I really, really enjoy. I've had him multiple drafts because I think he fits well with a lot of different facets, but you know what also fits well? Prize Picks. So make sure you're checking out Prize Picks at prizepicks.com/CLNS and using code CLNS. You're going to get a $100 deposit match. And hey, it's super easy to play. Plus, we got NBA stuff going on right now. DeMar DeRozan. I'm going DeMar. He's playing tomorrow night. I think he's going to be absolutely great. So I'm going to go on DeMar on his 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Going DeMar on Trae Young, 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think this is a pretty good one to lock in. So, hey, if you're feeling it, go put it down. Obviously, Trae Young, been really good when the lights shine bright all the way through his career. So maybe he does it once again. It's pretty simple to play. Choose 2 or more players. I'm going 2 here. You can pick more or less on their Prize Picks projections. And then you choose flex or power play depending on your confidence level. So obviously, get in there and kind of pick what you're trying to see. And hey, you never know what can happen. So go check it out there. PrizePicks.com/CLNS using code CLNS. You're going to get that $100 deposit match. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's the easiest way to play DFS. I highly recommend it. They got stat types and a bunch of different stuff. So once again, the final time, PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Using code CLNS, you're going to get that deposit for $100 matched. And guess what? We'll have that link in the comments and the description of this video. All right, Michael Hall. I think he fits in well because I like this defensive line. You re-signed pretty much everybody back. This is the starting line from last year. Dana, Jones, Nadi, Karlaftis. The defensive line that nobody really thought was going to be good without Jones. But then, guess what? Really, really performed well. I would love some extra help, though, because I like Pennell. I like Tershawn Wharton. I think that Neil Farrell Jr. can have a good year. But I want more interior help. I think that is a big thing of just relieving any stress that you may see on Chris Jones, relieving any stress you may see on Derek Nadi. I don't want to put our defensive line into a position where they could be more, I guess, susceptible to injury. And so that's going to talk about rotation. And I like Tershawn Wharton. Turtle's great. Getting to re-sign him was good. I just want somebody in the back end and somebody younger to have. I mean, Nadi could only be here for another year. We don't know what the situation is with, Tershawn Wharton's one more year. What's going to happen in the coming years? You have a rookie on contract that is going to be pretty cheap for the next 4 if you get that. Let's go to round 4, pick number 131 here. Braelon Allen, the running back from Wisconsin. Yes, I know it's getting a little redundant having to see him a couple every times, but here's the thing. He fits well with this system, and he would be a great RB2 to combo with Isaiah Pacheco. He runs the ball hard, he's very agile, and he can be put in pretty much any slot. He can catch it, he can run it, a lot of things. Plus, he had a great collegiate career with what I would consider RBU, running back university in Wisconsin. Over 3 years there, he had 1,000 yards 2 times. Should have had 1,000 yards 3 times. Would have had it if he had one more game, which he played only 11 this past year. 12 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns. This guy was an absolute menace. And I think that the Chiefs are looking at one running back. I don't know who that is, though. I consistently keep saying this, that they know that there's somebody they want. We've seen that because they're not signing J.K. Dobbins. They have Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Pacheco, but they want an RB3, and I don't think it's P. Ryan. There's someone they're looking at. I think it might be Braelon Allen. I know that we've talked about him a lot. I know that he's been in contact. He fits the bill for a lot of what the Chiefs want. It's him or Bucky Irving, and I'm going to go Braelon Allen in this one. So that's just the way I think. Let's get another wide receiver, why don't we? In round 5, pick 159 with Jordan Whittington, the Austin, Texas native. Hey, another Texas wide receiver. Not A.D. Mitchell, not Xavier Worthy, but hey, I guess it's something. And Jordan is one of these guys who I think was maybe undervalued just because of the people around him. I mean, when he was coming out of high school, he was projected to be the next big wide receiver at Texas. Then you had the Xavier Worthies coming in there, and you had A.D. Mitchell coming in there, and there's just a lot of stuff to kind of put on his plate that he becomes wide receiver 3. Still with that, 505 yards, only 3 drops. I know that's a lot considering he only had 42 receptions, but still pretty solid. 1 touchdown, pretty good there. I know that, again, it's not somebody you're looking at as like a top guy, but at the same time, you already got your wide receivers kind of figured out by drafting up at the top with Xavier Legette. Jordan Whittington is somebody that you could kind of combo there, put him at the back end of it. Plus, again, you get 4 years of control. You can be able to really, really help him out for the next coming years. Should the Chiefs draft a second wide receiver, though? Is this worth it, or do you think there's other holes they need to fill? Type Y for yes or type in for no. What are we thinking here? They need a second wide receiver if they're going to draft one already. Y for yes, in for no. Let me know down in the comments section. I'll give you the second to do that. Another Ohio State guy, Steele Chambers, round 5, pick 173. First of all I got to say is, what an absolute name. I mean, first team all name for sure. Steele Chambers, yeah, that guy sounds scary on my linebacking core. I know that the linebacker position is a little bit of an interesting take because Jack Cochran is liked. Their starting 3 is good. Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, and of course Leo Chenal. They like Jack Cochran as the backup there. However, I don't know if I'm going to sit here and say that they are fully depth-wise good with their linebacker core. So I think Steele Chambers fits. He wasn't anything crazy at Ohio State. 1 pass breakup, 1 interception, 1.5 tackles for loss, 83 tackles. I think he just played the game, honestly, in the right way. I know that sounds, cliche and all that, but he's been able to do a lot of different things, and I think he can honestly fit in well. And he's an athlete, and dude's been playing a couple different positions there, so he can do a lot of different things. And again, I go back to my original statement. The linebacker room is good. I think the starters are good. Jack Cochran is liked, but I would just want a little bit more depth, a little bit more, and Steele Chambers does that for me. That's just my thought. All right, let's go to the round 7 pick, number 221. James Williams, the safety out of Miami. I mean, quite frank, Williams is a depth piece, and safety is something that the Chiefs have drafted well, and if they're going to draft somebody late rounds, I trust them getting a cornerback or a safety. I know that I didn't get a cornerback this time, but I just truly think they trust in Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. I don't think it's worth it. I think there's some other unsung heroes that they're waiting on, and they had some future signings that I think they liked. It's something to kind of hold your morals on, try and see what happens, but I think getting something here with the safety and the depth-wise, it works. So let me know how you feel about this mock draft. I know I've kind of got a little AWOL on this one. Scale it 1 through 10, 1 being I hate this, 10 being I love this. Let me know down in the comments section down below, and so you can let me know what's going on with that. We do appreciate hanging out with us here on the Chief Sport. That's what we got for you today. We'll see you next time. Peace out.